Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway, and it should be an interesting video today because I'm going to attempt, at least, to do something that I've not done in a really long time, and that is to recreate real life trains. So a little over 2 years ago I made a video where I tried to recreate some real trains on the TV programme Railway Roundabout. If you want to see the video, I'll put it up there. In that video I did explain all about Railway Roundabout, but essentially two chaps back in the late 1950s, I think it was then anyway, they documented so many aspects of British railways, they filmed so many services and got a really nice little slice of British railway operation, which is really interesting, and they were aired on TV, like I said. Now, there's lots of those on YouTube, so if you want to see an episode, just type in Railway Roundabout and then choose a year. Last time, about 2 years ago when I did this, I did 1958, so I thought today, why not try and do 1959? So I did exactly that. And I've taken notes, I've found some trains that I think I can roughly recreate. I will say straight away, roughly. Some of the engine's running numbers aren't going to match up, and some of the rolling stock is just going to be an approximation. But hopefully it should just be a little bit of fun. Hopefully it will be interesting, and well, I guess you can let me know down in the comments how you think I did. First things first then, let's start off with this. This is quite early on in the 1959 programme. It is the Monmouth auto train. You can see a 14XX hauling backwards, two passenger coaches, they look like auto coaches. The back coach doesn't really look like one of the auto coaches I have, but like I say, I'm not going to be 100% exact. I think that should be quite easy. Let's try and do that. So I reckon I've started off a bit too easy, to be honest with you, because this is literally just the Hornby 14XX train pack that I have. But there are one or two interesting things to take from this. First of all, it helps answer the age-old question, what formation did the auto trains take? A lot of people say that the 14XX gets sandwiched between the two coaches, and don't get me wrong, that's true, no doubt they did that. But this episode of Railway Roundabout demonstrates that the 14XX would also run at either end of the train, which is pretty cool. Another interesting thing is that hopefully this will be reasonably accurate, because my 14XX and auto coaches are sort of BR era, which is pretty good. But there we go, as you can see, it looks pretty good in my opinion. Lovely little auto train, I know it's quite popular, so I'm glad to see that. Another interesting thing is that later on in the programme, the 14XX appears to have been replaced with a pannier tank. Not sure whether it's the same train, just with a change of loco, or a different service altogether. But since I've got the auto coaches out, why not give that a try as well? So let's do that. So I can't bring myself to put the Bachmann pannier tank on instead. It is the better model, don't get me wrong, but mine's in the sort of Railway Children livery, which isn't really suitable for this purpose. So it will have to be the Triang 8751. Quite an old model, but still good runners. And obviously it did run forwards and not backwards, like the 14XX did in the episode. So I think we're all railed up properly there. Let's try and give it some juice. See if this is going to work, or see if it's going to embarrass me. All right, here we go. Oh yeah, look at that. What a crawl. It's not bad, is it, for a loco that's like 3 times my age? Auto trains. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable success, isn't it? Doesn't look bad. I should say, in Railway Roundabout, the pannier that they showed definitely had a cab, which means I couldn't run my slightly more detailed 2721 pannier, because that wouldn't quite be right either. No, I think that does it quite nicely, doesn't it? And a very good runner as well. Very, very good. Brilliant. Next up then, another quite familiar sight. This next loco is on the Worcestershire branch line, and it's definitely a loco I recognise. Hopefully you do as well. Yeah, it looks like a Midland Compound to me. In fact, I think the narrator says what it is, so that settles it. I can't quite work out how many coaches it's got, but it looks like 3. Maybe there are some more that the camera didn't catch. But you do get 1 or 2 good looks at the coaches, so let's give this a little bit of a try. So I've gone with the Bachmann Compound because it's in BR condition, and then just an approximation of the correct coaches, but that actually excites me because it kind of looks right, doesn't it? It looks just like it. Maybe not to the professionally trained eye, but to me that looks pretty good. Yeah, great locos, the Bachmann Compounds. I should say the running number doesn't match on mine, but that's going to be true of most locos today. Next up then on the programme we have one of the very most famous Midland Compound locomotives. It's this one. This is actually, well, it says for 1000, but originally it would have been number 1000. According to the narrator, at this point it was going for restoration. And well, just out of interest, here's a little bit of the restoration. Obviously I'm not going to attempt that part, but let's try and do the part first of all, just that little clip of it running towards the camera. Okay, so she was going pretty slow in the programme. Not really sure how slow now, but about like that, wasn't it? Ready to go and get overhauled. It's very interesting actually learning about how they overhauled her that early on. You know, you expect these things to happen way down the line in preservation, but no, it was happening while steam was still very much in use, which was interesting to me at least, maybe not everybody else. There we go, carefully into the shed. Ready for an overhaul. Anyway, after it had been restored, just look at that. It looks absolutely amazing, doesn't it? And you can see it leaving the shed, presumably the shed where it was restored, pulled out with an 08 shunter. So let's try and get this right. It's going backwards and the 08 shunter's cab is facing forwards. That should be easy to do. Let's give that a try. Okay, here they come, nice and steady. 08 first. And there we have it, the beautifully redecorated and restored and slightly derailed Midland Compound. There we go, no doubt she'll be put back to work pretty soon. I have gone with the old sort of Hornby tender driven one because the decoration's much better, and in the Railway Roundabout films it is clear how illustrious she looks when she's been redone, so yep, that's why I did that. Next up then was a train that I know I can't 100% faithfully recreate, but it does involve one of the engines that I do have and never expected to show in a Railway Roundabout video. So as you can see, it is the Caledonian single wheeler double heading with a GNSR 440, Gordon the Highlander they say it is. Don't have one of those unfortunately, but I'll try something else, maybe a D16. I'll have a look across my collection, see what we can find. Okay, here comes the Caledonian. In the end I went with the T9, but obviously in real life it would have been a Caledonian blue 440. Not sure about the coaches. On the programme they look like they're quite light in colour, but I don't have any like that, so I've gone with those. Yeah, it looks quite nice though, doesn't it? You can tell that the T9 is really keeping the Caledonian at bay, slowing it down. But that's good, it's good, makes for a slightly more realistic performance. Yeah, if only our manufacturers would do some more Caledonian stuff, I think it would be wonderful because it's such a beautiful livery, isn't it? Surely, with how well some of this pre-grouping stuff sells, liveries as beautiful as the Caledonian blue would surely do really well. There you go then, yeah that one wasn't ideal, but not bad for an approximation. Yeah, and I enjoyed seeing it run too, and that's the main thing. Next up then, the programme shows a train up in Fort William, which is up in Scotland. Looks like a 260 mogul to me, perhaps. I mean, the running number is very difficult to make out, as you can see, but I think that is 61754, which makes it a K-class mogul. I don't have one of those exactly, but I do have a Hornby K1, which looks quite similar. As you can see, we do get quite a few good looks at the rolling stock, so we've got a variety of coaches there, which I can sort of approximate, I think. And quite interestingly, there are 3 fish fans at the back as well, so that makes a nice opportunity, I think. Let's see if I can do that. So there we go, I think I've recreated that one as best as I can. You'll have to let me know down in the comments how you thought I did, and feel free to include any tips for improvement as well. Let's try and get the same perspective then as on the TV show. There you go. What do you think to that? And they do like these closer shots, don't they? In fact, a lot of them are even closer than this. But I think it would be too much of a rabbit hole to start trying to recreate actual shots. So I'll do a couple, but yeah, that's not the main aim of this. So there you have it then, folks. The beautiful Hornby K1 mogul standing in for the K-class mogul. How similar they are in real life, I'm not sure, but I guess for my purpose it looks alright, doesn't it? Next up in the programme then, we get to see a little bit of a tour of a shed. It is the King's Cross shed. I think they call it Top Shed, don't they? That's what they call it locally. loads and loads of famous engines on display there, so I thought I could just recreate a few snippets of that for you. So let's get some of those locos out. The first one, very easy to recognise, that is definitely Mallard, so that won't be a problem. And there are some other engines that I certainly recognise there as well, so hopefully we can do a little bit of this. Let's see if we can recreate a little bit of King's Cross.
And here comes beautiful LNER Pacific Mallard. Sound like Winston Churchill. But no, that's pretty much the way they had the shot, isn't it? Just the front end there, passing another A4 in the background. Yeah, that's not bad. Oh, it's nice. I mean, the shot ended probably long before this point, but we'll let it go on so that you can see the loco. Hornby Railroad, could you believe that? Wheels looking a bit weathered, aren't they? Probably need a clean. They also had Scotsman on site as well, so there we go. It would have been in BR guise without smoke deflectors, so I've gone with my Triang version in order to get that. They had the lovely Peppercorn A1 at the shed as well. Probably wouldn't have been in quite this livery at the time, but there that is. And then up next, what looks like on a turntable, we have the V2. So there we go. And actually, this turntable does look kind of like the one on the programme because you've got the sort of bars in the foreground. So there we are. I mean, that's pretty much that, isn't it? And then up next, you've got a pair of N2s, which seem to be coupled together. On the programme, he says how unkempt they look. Unfortunately, mine are pristine, which isn't very accurate. And then in the sort of background, which is blurred, so we'll keep it blurred, there is another unknown engine. I've gone for the Hunslet Austerity, but I don't think it was one in real life. Next shot, you get a very brief look at an 08 shunter pushing some sort of box van, something like that. So there we go. Yeah, this is looking a lot like King's Cross, isn't it? Very nice. And then finally at King's Cross you get this shot of, well, they call it a Type 1 diesel electric. I've got my Class 29 here, I believe it is, which is a Type 2, so it's not exactly right, but it's kind of similar in shape, isn't it? So there we go, that's a little recreation of some of the engines that were at King's Cross.
Next up then, we have a loco that I think you will recognise. Are you ready? Okay, there it is. So yeah, Hornby actually made one of these not too long ago. It's a Raven Q6, and you can see it wheel slipping away from this industrial premises. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but we can try get a bit of wheel slip as well. You also see the thing on a turntable, and I've got a turntable. Obviously the setting isn't going to be quite right, but yeah, I think we can do a bit of turntable. Okay, well, this is going to be a little bit dodgy. I'm holding the loco back with a piece of cotton, so yeah, manage your expectations for what you're about to see. Let's give it a try. Here we go. There we go. It does kind of make you wonder, though, whether they were playing up for the cameras by doing this, because surely a loco with this many coupled wheels and that much weight would not wheel slip without a load, unless you really give it some. But there we go. It was certainly nice to see on camera, though, that's for sure. Now, I certainly don't have any of those massive overhead gantries, so we'll stick with the passenger footbridge instead. There we go. Yeah, I suppose that gets the message across, doesn't it? In a way. Okay, steadily does it. And then it kind of looks something like this, didn't it? Obviously a bit more smoothly. Finally then, we have one last train. Here it is. It looks like a small Prairie to me. I think the narrator calls it a 45XX tank, which doesn't explain exactly which small Prairie it is, but I'll get the backman running. You can see it's running backwards with two red coaches. They look like they're identical coaches, both sort of composite brakes, I think they are. Midland region, it says, although I believe the narrator said they're ex-Great Western, so I'll see what I can do with that. Anyway, yeah, let's give that one a try and finish things off. Here we go then, along the English Riviera. Now the coaches I know aren't correct. They did say ex-Great Western coaches. Mine are ex-LNER, but I do have two identical ones, which is why I've done that. But there we go, looks pretty cool. And of course I love these small Prairies too. So that's kind of what it looked like. Now they do chop and change quite a lot during the programme. The loco faces the front sometimes. And in one shot, they even show the thing hauling a, well, some sort of luggage van or something. It's a grey one. I don't have a grey one, sadly. I only have a southern green one, but hopefully it will do, and it will just serve to recreate sort of another train. So there you go, and the engine was facing the front for that bit as well, so I've replicated that as well.
Looks nice though, and there really is no better way to get inspirations for train formations than watching Railway Roundabout, so I can highly, highly recommend it. Very, very useful, and of course, fun and interesting to watch too.
Okay, so there you have it then. Well, I think that was a reasonable success. Was I particularly accurate? Almost certainly not. But I enjoyed myself, and that's the main thing. So if you did too, I guess that's a good thing. Would you like to see more of this? Did you enjoy it? Was it naff? Do let me know down in the comments. If enough of you like it and the video does well, I'll certainly consider doing more. For now though, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, as I say, and I'll see you very soon with some more videos like this and some more reviews and such. Alright folks, take care. See you on the next one.